I will declare the decree. The Lord hath said unto me, Thou art my son, this day have I begotten thee. Psalm 2:7. His topic is Christ, the Son of God. Another scripture, God hath fulfilled the same unto us, their children, in that he hath raised up Jesus again, as it is also written in the second Psalm, Thou art my son, this day have I begotten thee. Well, this is the chief thing, that we know how properly and how well Paul applieth the testimony taken out of the psalm to the present situation. We do not deny that David, when he saw that he was on every side assailed by his enemies, and that they were of greater power and might than he was able to resist, doth set against them God's aid, who he knew was the author of his kingdom and reign. But seeing that David was a figure of the true Messiah, we know that those things were shadowed in his person, which do wholly and perfectly apply to the Messiah alone. The text itself doth prove sufficiently that there is not only a simple and bare thanksgiving contained there, agreeable to David's kingdom, but it is a higher prophecy. For it is well known that David did in his life scarcely taste of the 100th part of the glory that is spoken of in this place, Psalm 2, 1-12. Now, let us look again higher into the words. Kings are indeed called sons of God, Psalm 82:6. But seeing that God doth intend to prefer David before all other kings, and to exempt him out of the number of them, this title of honor is given to him principally above all other, not because so great honor resteth in his person, because by this means he should pass the angels, as it is in the epistle to the Hebrews chapter 1. Therefore, he is thus gorgeously set out in respect of Christ, whose image he was, that God doth not take him for one of the common sort, or for some one of a great multitude, but he doth, as it were, acknowledge him to be his only begotten Son. The proof followeth, because God did beget David when he established the kingdom in his hand. For that was not done by man's industry, but God showed from heaven the invincible power of his hand, whereby it might plainly appear that he reigned according to God's counsel. Therefore, this begetting, by him mentioned, must be referred unto the understanding of knowledge of men, that is to say, because it was then openly known that he was begotten of God, when, as he was set upon the throne of the kingdom wonderfully, contrary to the hope of all men, and did by the heavenly power of the Spirit break infinite conspiracies, because he could not reign until he had brought all nations round about him in subjection, as if a certain world were subdued. Now let us come to Christ. He came not into the world without evidence to prove that he was the Son of God. For his glory did appear as was appropriate for the only begotten Son of God, as it is written in John 1:14. And he saith everywhere that he hath God for the witness and maintainer of this honor. John 5:36. Therefore God begat Christ when he engraved on him certain marks whereby he might be known to be his true and living image and Son. And yet this doth not prevent Christ being the wisdom begotten of the eternal Father before time. But that is the secret generation. David now declareth that it was revealed to men, so that the relation is, as we have said, unto men and not unto God, because that which was hidden in the heart of God was made known to men. And it is a well-chosen figure, because Christ's deity was no less declared and established than if he had been begotten of God before the eyes of men. When the Spirit of God himself is his own interpreter, and whereas he doth explain by the mouth of Paul what he had said through David, we must not invent any other meaning. And forasmuch as the same Paul doth witness that Christ was declared to be the Son of God in power when he rose from the dead, Romans 1:4, we gather that this was the principal proof of his celestial excellency, and that the Father did then bring him truly into view, that the world might know that he was begotten of him. Therefore, though God began to raise Christ when he came into the world, yet his raising was then, as it were, perfect and full. Because whereas he was humbled before, having taken, as it were, the form of a servant, he did then appear to be the conqueror of death and the Lord of life, so that he lacked nothing of that majesty that was suitable for the Son of God, and indeed for the only begotten Son.